Apparently the betazoids are this way because they can mind read, right?
Yeah.
And they can communicate without, using words. They can just kind of talk to each other using their minds. And because of this, she's always honest, right? The mom.
Yes.
She has no filter.
Right.
Because, apparently for her, honesty is like the best thing. And like, not to be honest is this whole, it's just a inefficient thing,
right.
Inefficient communication. Right.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
It may be efficient, but it hurts people's feelings. I think brutal honesty, there's a reason why we don't say everything that's on our minds.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because if we did, we actually had this conversation in work with, I don't know if you were there, it was during lunch, like, what would it be like if we, and I think we came to the conclusion we wouldn't like each other anymore, right? We wouldn't be friends because like,
right.
Yeah.
The only thing is like the thought experiment, it was with the betazoids. If your whole peoples can do this already, then you'll have to create a culture where you have nothing to, nothing to hide.
Right.
Right. But in a culture where the only communication can do is with, your physical body and, whatever sound that comes out of your mouth, right?
Yes.
It's effectively all you can do. It's the most inefficient way to communicate something. But there's a lot of processing that goes in to deliver this. There's a lot of execution that goes into. It's like a haiku, right? What we're doing right now, communicating with you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're not experiencing the full me. You're experiencing this small slither of all the processing that's going in, and then you're hearing a little bit of that sound, right? Just a little projection.
Yeah.
A little vector of my brain onto you. And I think that's important because then you'll get this full-fledged, like, brutal honesty, which is not, I don't think conducive to a culture.
I agree. I think you wouldn't have, you'd have a lot more wars, right? You wouldn't have any diplomacy. It would be a very, like, again, a species that didn't evolve that way. We'd go through a really fucked up, if we didn't kill ourselves because of it. Mm-hmm. Like, I think it could have that drastic of effects on humanity where people would lose their minds, right? I feel like people would just, but I think over time though, you're right. You would become a more healthy society, actually, I believe.
Yes. It makes you think at that point, there's no, because a barrier between, it's like what we were saying before, where like, how do you discern the difference between me and you, right? It's because of this gap that we have.
Right.
And there's a communication, there's a huge effort on my end to communicate with you. But the cells in between my body, the communication is like almost instantaneous, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Through yourself.
Yeah. Within myself. But if I was just connected, my brain connected to you, then we would be almost this one person.
Yeah.
Right? And then we would act accordingly because we have all the information of one another.
That's a really good point. And I wonder how efficient humans would be at that point, right? It's almost like a computer in that way where, a school of fish, they move with like milliseconds of delay, right? Mm-hmm. When they make that ball. I wonder like what that would do for us as far as like achieving things, humanity, right? If you're just like, it's just a thought, like tornado, and you're just able to like move together and like,
Yeah, I mean, like, also you'll be in completely like, if you go on like say like a sports arena, right?
Yeah,
that shit will be wild.
Right.
The holistic experience of like the passion of everything, and it would just overwhelm you. But also like you would also understand the pain of the other side as well, right?
You would. You mean of other people? You mean?
Yeah. So.
Or do you mean just the raw input would drive you insane with that many people?
Well, I mean, I think it's once you have the capacity for being able to understand or feel people, you probably have a higher capacity to accept. Or would you be jaded? I don't know.
I think at some point, this is like, I'm not basing myself on anything because I don't fucking know, of course, right? But I feel like at some point it becomes noise. I think if there's so many thoughts coming at once, it's like rain.
Yeah. Right.
There's no like, you can't discern anything. Yeah,
because the betazoid isn't like they're not that much smarter. I don't think they just have this another sensory input.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
right. So it's like if you're just a human like brain, you're gonna do the same thing as the focusing crystal would be very specific to what you want to hear.
Yeah, it's like men do. Like when your wife's talking to you and you're doing something on your computer, you're not hearing a word she's saying.
I forgot to bring in the trash bins today.
Yeah,
and my wife was. And I was like, I because I'm not forgetting out of spite. I just forget.
You just forget. I know. Yeah.
So like, it's one of those things where it's like, if I can feel the annoyance early,
you're like,
I'll be able to like act on it, right?
Yeah.
So then I would be a good fucking beta zoan.
You're a good beta, Nick.
Yeah.